Hello and welcome back to Store Planet Podcast. I'm your host, Jacko. So today I'm joined by Sarah Hayes from CleanupUK, who's going to tell us a little bit about their work and what they've been getting into and how they've grown over recent years. So first of all, Sarah, thank you so much for your time. You start by telling us a little bit about your background and your role at CleanupUK.
Hiya. Okay, so I've worked in the charity sector for about the last 25 years. I've worked for different organisations. I've been a grant maker in health and social care, worked with refugees and asylum seekers. And yeah, since 2014, I've been working with Clean Up UK. Um, and when I joined them, they were much smaller. They were working with local litter picking groups in East and North London. Started off in the 5 Olympic boroughs because that's where the first branch of funding came from to kind of tidy up before the visitors arrived. And yeah, it's grown, and I'm currently head of operations. I wear lots of different hats because we're quite a small core team, even though we're spread around the country now via all of the volunteers and the litter pickers. We are actually quite a small charity still. Um, so yeah, that's me. Been here a while.
Brilliant. Okay, so tell us a little bit about so what is the overall vision and the aims of the organisation?
Of Clean Up UK. So the vision is a world where local communities are litter free and people feel proud and connected and happy to care for the places that they live in. So our mission is about working with local people where the need is greatest. So our funded work is in what the government call areas of deprivation, because there's this link between litter and deprivation. But you know, they're just communities around the country, and we encourage them to roll up their sleeves and make lasting environmental and social impact in their communities, primarily through litter picking. But then there are other kind of activities that groups get involved in along those lines, along the lines of looking after their environment, really.
Brilliant. And just a side question there. So what are some of the social impacts of litter picking?
Well, I suppose it's got lots of benefits. If you, I mean, this is what people tell us. So obviously, there's the nice side of having a nice, clean environment. But it's not just about picking up the litter at all. It's about people coming together where they live, people meeting their neighbours they haven't spoken to before, and just taking part in a very simple activity that actually improves your mental health. You know, if you tidy up your house, you feel much better. It's the same if you tidy up your local park. So, you know, being outside, getting exercise in the great outdoors, bringing, yeah, as I said, like having a cup of tea afterwards and a piece of cake. Sometimes that's why people come along, because actually it's really social. And there's something quite mindful about litter picking, and people go out and they pick and they start chatting. And I think it's that thing of you're not like looking at each other and you're not there to chat, but it just happens. And I think that they feel bonded more closely with other people, and they meet other people if they're new to it who perhaps they would never have met before. Obviously, you know, there's this whole thing about pollution and the environment, and you're removing microplastics from our soil, which would eventually break down and go into our waterways and our ecosystem, which is terrible for us and terrible for wildlife. It's got loads of benefits, really, Jack.
Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic. So what is the current size and scope of groups across the country?
So we have our sort of funded work is litter picking hubs, and we've got 94 around the country, and literally they're from Plymouth to Essex, from Newcastle to Hastings, Birmingham, spread all over. Um, and so litter picking cleanup hub is your go-to place basically for all your litter picking needs. They're really lovely community organisations and sometimes businesses, but mainly small local charities, community groups who lend out litter picking equipment that we provide them. So we set them up as a cleanup hub, and they have, you know, a pack, and they have posters, and they have all the health and safety guidelines and risk assessments and stuff. And it's just to make it easy for people who want to come and have a go at litter picking, but perhaps they're not quite ready to set up their own group yet. But or perhaps they're not quite persuaded that it's something they want to do. You know, it's not the most glamorous thing we're asking people to do. But quite often, if someone comes along and has a go, they actually find out that it's really fun, and they're sometimes inspired to, you know, go ahead and set up their own groups. We realized that sometimes people just want to do the litter picking and not be involved in the logistics of setting up a group and finding kit and talking to the council. So all that's kind of taken care of within the hub, and it's there for anyone to borrow. And then the groups on our website, you'll see 2 maps. So there's those currently 94 hubs around the country in our partner organisations. And then we've got hundreds of groups, which is a different map, who are local people who've just set up their own litter picking groups. They're independent from us, and they use our website to have a profile for their group. So if you set up a litter picking group where you lived and you wanted other people to be able to find you, they'd be able to search for their local litter picking groups with their postcode, and they'd be able to contact you. So it's a bit like a little Facebook for litter picking groups, if you think of it like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes the groups are attached to hubs, but the groups are absolutely anywhere, because, as I said, we don't fund them, and some of them have been around for years and years and years, and some of them are new. Some of them set up for a specific reason. Like sometimes we have teenagers wanting to do some volunteering for the Duke of Edinburgh, and they might set up a profile to track that and to have evidence of what they've done, because it's also quite good work experience organising events and promoting what you're doing, and get, you know, a bit of community organising going on. So yeah, that's groups and that's hubs. Anyone who wants to litter pick really can find something on our website, I think, to help them.
Fantastic. And one of the things I think is particularly interesting is, naturally with organizations, it starts with a good idea, a small group of inspired people and stuff. What I think is so amazing about Cleanup UK is, as you mentioned, quite a small organization. Started
Yeah.
off very small in just particular parts of London. Um, how have you managed to spread and scale so successfully? Because it's quite an incredible achievement.
Thank you. We've got a very dedicated, hardworking team. We're small but mighty, I would say. I hate to mention it, but lockdown came upon us, and we were looking at what was going on around the country, and everybody embraced this online way of talking to people. So before that, we didn't talk to each other in video calls. It seems crazy now because we do it all the time. But, you know, when we had a project in Birmingham, I would go up to Birmingham and meet with the project lead there. And we realised, well, we don't need to do that now. We can kind of have these quite good back and forth conversations. It's better than a phone call. It's better than an email. So we started just investigating which local authorities would like us to work in them. There was a couple of us on the team then doing that. And yeah, we just sort of started tentatively setting up these hubs around the country. But what we found when we did that was that we kind of lost the spark that we'd had by working in the communities when we just worked with the groups in London and then in Birmingham. And we felt that we really needed to have people on the ground to build that relationship between Cleanup UK. Because as lovely as it is chatting to people like this, there's something about being face to face with someone and having a litter pick with them or a cup of tea and chatting over things and really getting to know each other that helps build that kind of trust, I guess, between organisations and people. So we set about taking on board, we've got 17 cleanup champions around the country. So in all the areas where we've got hubs, they have a cleanup champion who lives in or near to their community. And that's really helped us increase engagement. So as well as setting up new hubs, which they've been doing over the last year or so, they've been really focusing on letting people know that the kit is in these organisations. Because it's all very well going around setting up cleanup hubs all over the country, but we don't want it to sit in the cupboard. We want people to know it's there and come and use it. So the champs really help. And they're all brilliant people. They're all people who've got their own kind of interest in the environment and community, and they've all got experience. Lots of them lead their own massive litter picking operations where they live as well. So it's a real kind of joint effort. And yeah, they kind of help support these organisations, because we've put the hubs in very busy small community organisations who've already got a job to do, and we appreciated that, and we thought, oh, how can we help them kind of promote and shout about the fact they're there? So they might have pics together, they might go around putting up posters or chatting to other groups and inviting them to come and have a go. Because what we really want is to get people to have a go at litter picking who perhaps never tried before. And you know, the people who will litter pick and set up their own groups will do it with or without us. But this project is about us just trying to kind of gently encourage people to have a go. It might be schools, it might be scouts, it might be brownies, it might just be a Friends of a Park group, it might be a dog walking group, whoever it is, and to say, you know, would you like to have a go? And the idea being that this hub can then lend out that kit to more than one group. So, you know, potentially a different group could be using it every day of the month.
Brilliant. And so my final question was actually going to be, how can people get involved? But I think you covered that quite extensively. So I would say, so here I am, I'm in Bermondsey. Let's say I want to, you know, start my own local group. How would I go about it?
So you can go and set up a profile if you want to start a group on our website. It's free. We've got a whole resources page with loads of information, toolkits, posters, things you can download, information that you might need about where you can find kit. You can, you know, log your events and stuff on there. If you are near to one of the areas where we currently have our hubs, you can look on the hub map, you can put in your postcode and it will bring up the nearest hubs and groups to you. So you could either join an existing group or you could set up your own group. And obviously, if you look at our social media, I can send you all the social media handles and stuff for the podcast notes. But you know, we'll be shining a light on what everyone's doing around the country all the time on there. Also, I should say we're really excited because we've just heard that we're going to be involved in the Big Give Earth Raise in April. So from the 22nd to the 29th of April, any donation that we receive will be doubled by the Big Give. And so we're going to have the kind of ability for people to have a sponsored litter pick if you were interested in doing that, or if your school was interested in doing that. And then any money you raised, if you donated it via the Big Give, you would be helping us to support more communities around the country and open more hubs. So we can give you a link to that as well. But basically, yeah, just go on our website, www.cleanupuk.org.uk.
Brilliant. And I'll make sure all those links are placed below. Sarah, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Jack. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.